Thanks for joining me today. I am Trina Larmony with Vegas Realty, and as always, I'm joined today by Alexandria Pearl, our resident real estate expert. I want to get right into this, Alex, today. Normally I ask you what's the climate, the temperature of the market right now, but I really want to go into asking you, how does it look for renters right now?
The rental market is a little challenging. There are a lot of obstacles for a potential person who's trying to get into a rental property.
Okay.
For example, a lot of homeowners and or landlords are looking to make sure they get a security deposit last month. Then there's also the other soft costs. For example, there might be a key fee or a cleaning fee and a pet fee.
Right.
In addition, they've raised their standards for what your credit score needs to be. So they want a minimum credit score. And if it doesn't meet that criteria, then they actually ask for an extra security deposit on top of So not only are you paying the first month and the last month, but then you're adding another security deposit on top of that.
Okay, and is the reason they're doing that the exposure that these landlords have because of the pandemic?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So landlords are feeling a bit exposed. So because tenants have so many rights to begin with, but of course there's a moratorium here where you cannot evict a tenant for non-payment. So the landlords are stuck high and dry if they've got to make a payment on a property. So in order to protect themselves, they've taken these extra steps to make sure that the tenant that they get in there is well qualified.
Right.
And so not only do they have to have a secure job, they also have to have the credit score, then they also take the extra security deposits to make sure that it covers at least some portion of the rental period that they're looking for.
I have a question, and it's outside of this, but does a landlord who owns a property, and say he owns 5 properties and they're all rented out and he has his primary residence, he doesn't qualify for any of these forbearances, maybe on his primary residence, but does he on the other residences?
Yes, no, actually, that's a great question because so many landlords are panicking right now. Through December 30th, at least in Nevada, there is a program for landlords of these rental properties that they can try and get some sort of financial aid, basically, for any tenants who are non-paying or aren't paying.
Okay.
It's 5 simple steps. There's a website that they have to go on, and they just have to identify the property. So it can't be any large corporations for the most part, but some of them can. I mean, there are specific guidelines, but they're not super strict. But so they identify the property, they identify the tenant who's not paying, they identify the amount that they're not getting from their property, the rental term, and the amount that they're losing, and they submit that information, and they are put into. There's a queue. So as long as they get in there before the 30th, they'll be considered.
Okay.
They'll be considered for financial aid, basically, to help reduce the cost of their liability.
Okay. This leads me into something that's personal for me.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, 2 or 3, when I was in my late 20s,
Of course.
I was renting a home, and I was a single mother, and it didn't dawn on me. I had no idea that I might even qualify to own my own home and purchase it for myself. And now, knowing what I know now, not being in my late 20s anymore, I hear this.
Early 30s.
2 or 3 years of experience later.
Of course, yes.
I'm hearing, first month's, last month's additional security deposit.
Right.
If you're looking at a property that's maybe $1,500, you're looking at minimally $4,500 to get into a home. So tell me more about why someone who's looking to rent should really consider purchasing their own home with that $4,500.
Absolutely. It's making your money work for you in the end. Truly, you don't want to feel like you're just throwing your money away. I mean, so between having the $4,500 to put down towards a rental property, you could potentially be looking at a 1 to 2 bedroom. Typically, it's a townhouse or a condominium. There are 1 to 2 bedroom houses. They're fewer and far between, but nonetheless, you're going to think about that property and you're investing in yourself, because you're going to be putting down the same amount of money, for example, for a loan. If you put 3.5% down for an FHA type of loan where you only need to put 3.5% down as a down payment, or if you qualify for a conventional loan where you can sometimes just put a minimum of 3% down. Imagine, now you're investing in yourself, because that property is inevitably going to continue to appreciate.
Okay.
So you're building equity in your own property instead of building up somebody else's equity. You're paying off their mortgage plus something additional. So it's an investment in yourself, really.
Okay, so I really want to just break this down for you young people out there who are paying $4,500 to move into a property. If I have $4,500, you're telling me I can get into a 2-bedroom condo, which costs what? What's the?
I mean, it ranges anywhere between $90,000 to $150,000.
Okay, so having looked at the rental market myself, I know that to get a 2-bedroom condo, I might be looking at $1,300 for a monthly payment.
Yes.
What would I be looking at for a mortgage payment for that property?
Well, anywhere, again, depending on what you put down, it will range for anywhere between $600 to $800, for a 1 to 2 bedroom house.
Okay.
Or, I mean, a townhouse or condominium.
Okay.
Now, if you are a single person and you take on a roommate, of course, and that roommate can help contribute to what your mortgage payment is, and so now you're offsetting the amount that you're responsible for. I mean, there are different ways to think about it financially, depending on your situation. But nonetheless, when you invest in a property, you know that even with markets that go up and down, it's going to appreciate anywhere between 2% to more than 7%. Again, depending on the cycle. So you are going to be able to, at the point where you've outgrown the property, you're going to be making money then when you're ready to turn around and sell it.
Okay.
So that's truly what it's about. And nonetheless, a lot of people feel insecure about knowing what they can afford.
Right.
It truly is, they're kind of afraid. They feel like almost like they can't qualify for something like that, like, oh wow, I didn't know that I could qualify, making this much money, or with
that was
this.
me. I was that girl.
Yeah. So, don't be afraid. That's what I would say. Don't be afraid to try. Just try. And when you find that right person to help you, along the steps, that's what they're there for. Somebody who's a buyer's agent will help educate you and lead you to the people who can help find those answers for you, whether it's the right time or not.
So what I just heard is I could buy a property or rent a property. Either way, I might be going in with $4,500, but I could be making a payment of $1,300 a month to help someone else build their own equity, or I could be making a payment between $600 to $800 a month, which is $500 to $800 a month.
Yes.
Cheaper.
Yes.
Yes. If my math is correct.
No,
I'm not a mather.
No, I'm either.
But and I'm building equity for myself.
Right.
It sounds like a no-brainer, and I really want people out there to understand this is available to you. This is an option for you. Why would you build someone else's equity when you could be building your own equity? And I'll grow the property, sell it, and take that equity to upgrade.
Right.
So,
I mean, hands down, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Knowing if you're going to be here 6 months to a year, I would say at least a year, because some people are transient, so you have to take that into consideration. But if you're going to be here at a minimum of a year, absolutely consider it. I think it's a better option than renting.
That's perfect. Yeah. So to wrap up, if you're looking at renting a property, you really should consider, if you've got the credit score and you have a job,
down payment.
The down payment that you're going to need anyway to rent a property. It sounds to me like the needs, the things you'll be able to provide to rent a property are parallel to what you would need to purchase a property, because you even have to have the credit score at this point.
Yeah.
So it just sounds like a no-brainer. I just want people out there to understand that you could be owning your own property, and that's a big deal. And there's no feeling like it when you get the keys to your first home, I have to tell you that.
That's right.
So I want to thank you for that information, Alex, and it sounds like you understand it so well that you're the person that needs to be helping people into this situation. So how do people get in touch with you?
They can call me, they can text me, 702-592-5999, or they can email me, alex@pearl-alexandria.com.
Okay, for those of you that were able to write that down very quickly,
Yes.
because I love this girl and I've known her forever and I still don't know her email address, it will be on the screen,
Yes,
so
no,
don't
yeah.
worry about that.
Call, text, email. Yeah, happy to answer any questions you might have. Yeah, no pressure either way. So
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.